Yo, so I'm making this video because a nice young lady or a nice lady or spent the time to message me and ask me about son husbands and the relationship she was having with the son husband and all the issues she was having dating that son husband. And she said, can you comment, can you make a video about that? And here this video is. How do I know so much about being a son husband? Because I borderline was a son husband. Son husbands start off as RBMs. What are RBMs? RBMs are raised by mom. They're raised by mom. The dad is not there for whatever reasons. Now we can go into that debate, but that's a useless debate of why the father is not there, why the dad is not there. Let's focus on this husband, this son husband. And I'm using a specific word saying son husband because that's the stages of this man and how this man becomes who he is. What is a son husband? A son husband, in short, is RBM, which is raised by mom. Typically, when you're raised by your mother, you're going to be illogical, irrational, and highly emotional. Why? Because women in general are irrational, illogical, and highly emotional. So you're going to absorb those traits. That's where the father would come in and move those things around and be like, hey, we don't do it that way. This is how men function. But with the father not there, the son absorbs all of that 100% of the time. 100% of the time, the son is absorbing that. Okay? There's no break. Irrational, illogical, highly emotional. Look at all the YNs that are walking around. 80% of the prison right now, 80% of the male prison are RBMs. So let's keep going with this RBM. So the RBM, raised by mom, irrational, illogical, highly emotional. Those are the ones that typically going to comment now, that's not true, not my mom, and because they're irrational, illogical, highly emotional. Those are the YNs that we see out here. So the mom is raising the son. The father's not around, so that's off the table. And as she's raising the son, like Aristotle said, give me a child to the age of 7, I'll show you the man. Like Bob Proctor talks about the subconscious mind, like Professor Xavier on X-Men. Right? Mental, subconscious mind. That mom is raising the son. RBM, raised by mom. So you got this constant bombardment of mom, son, mom, son, mom, son. And as he gets older, she starts to groom him. Now, I know that's a big word. As the son gets older, this is 7, 8, 9, like teenage years, she starts to groom, the mom starts to groom, the mother starts to groom the son into a husband. He becomes that male figure in the home. You know, I'm here by myself and you're here to protect me and be a man and open the doors and this, that, and the other. All that good stuff that women like, I want a man like that. That's great. But she groomed him in a way that he is only a husband toward her, not you. So women are like, no, we want men to open doors and we want men to do this and that and the other. Great. You want men to do that, but he's only going to do all of that stuff for his mother. Son, husband. But wrong. But what happens when he gets into a relationship? I'm glad you asked. When he gets into a relationship, his mother is still going to be that main influence in that relationship. And that's where the son husbandry really opens up. Because she's going to be such an influence in that relationship, particularly if she doesn't like the woman that he's dealing with. It's going to be an issue. It's going to be a hell of an issue. Now, there's a saying I like to use that goes, what's chaos to the fly is normal to the spider. What's chaos to the fly is normal to the spider. So you as the woman dating this son husband see that this dynamic is going on and you're trying to pull him to the side like, hey, your mom's doing this, or your mom's manipulating you, your mom's a narcissist, your mom's that, and the other. The fly doesn't see that because it's normal to him. It's normal to be in that world. The spider sees that and sees you trying to interfering with what's going on. The spider mom is going to do something to you, meaning try to bite you, spit webs on you, cause problems. You getting it now? Just like the son husband initially starts with like what they call the black widow. You call it being black widowed, where the mom who has no kid, let's say she's in her 30s, she's having that feeling, I'm gonna have a kid, so she runs out and have a kid. She's black widow, meaning she'll have a kid, but then push the father away. But then like, oh, I'm by myself. I'm such a single mom. I'm doing it by myself. And really the dad's like, no, I'm here. No, I'm by myself. Because the black widow, if you don't know, out in nature, the black widow gets pregnant and then eats the father. So now she raises the kids by herself. RBM, raised by mom. How many kids are like that, being black widow? That goes back to what I just said about the spider and the fly. What's chaos to the fly is normal to the spider. You as an observer seeing that and be like, oh, wow, there's too much going on. Now, what do you do if you're in a relationship like that? You leave. There isn't no, you can't turn that back. I already talked to you about being Professor Xavier on X-Men. He's already been subconsciously conditioned and indoctrinated to serve his mother, to be the husband to his single mother who's just trying her best. He's already in that mode. There's nothing you can do. Nothing. The longer you stay, great. Keep going through all the chaos. There's nothing you can do because it's locked in. It's in the subconscious mind. As a mental health advocate, I'm telling you, when things are locked into your subconscious mind, it's a wrap. You have to want to pull that out. Just like a drunk or something like that. They have to want to get better. You got to want to stop drinking. You got to want to stop smoking. You got to want to stop eating bad. If you don't want it for yourself, you can't force that on somebody. You can't, because the subconscious will reject it. It's not rocket science. You can't make somebody do something. They have to want to do it for it to work. Now, don't get me wrong. You can force things on people. They'll do it for a certain amount of time, but eventually they're going to go right back because the subconscious mind. This isn't rocket science. They have to want to see it, see the manipulation and be like, oh shit, I need to do better. That's what happened to me. Luckily, when I was young, about 20 years old, I went to the military. So that broke the chain of being that RBM, that husband son, right? I didn't really notice how much of a husband son I was until my son was born. That's in 06. So I realized all the things I kept telling her, my son's mother. My mom said this, my mom said that, and my mom, and I realized that, but because I'm a neurodivergent, I observe things differently. I see things differently. I analyze things differently. So once I started seeing that, I was like, oh shit. And then once my mother moved down, we really started to see it. Because I was never really raised as an adult around my mom. I was always a child. But see, that's a dynamic a lot of husband sons are, or son husbands are. They're an adult being raised, like they're 25, 30 years old and still son husbands. You're never going to break that. The best you can do is tell him, hey, you may want to work on your relationship between you and your mom and dip. If you are a son husband and you see this with your relationship with your mother where she just like, she ain't got nobody but you and always calling for you and this, that, and the other. If you want to break that, it has to be very slow. It has to be very meticulous because a sudden break is like pulling the Band-Aid off. It's going to cause a lot of fucking problems and you better be ready to deal with it. If you don't have the mental fortitude to deal with all that and all the whole my mom, and you go from my mom, I gotta do that, and all of a sudden you rip the Band-Aid off, there's no more mom. Oh, there's gonna be a lot of heat. There's gonna be a lot of subconscious things as a man you're gonna go through to be like, I no longer deal with my mom. That's gonna be a major issue for you to just up and stop dealing with your mom without going through a process. It has to be a process. Like everything I talk about is a process. We're talking about mental health. It's a process. People who just get separated like that, it messes with their minds. It doesn't work out well at all. It's like people who losing their jobs. They're constantly working, and then their job is gone like that. Those people typically delete themselves or have start going into the coping skills, which is sex, alcohol, drugs, food, and work. It's harder than what you think it is. We're talking about mental health now. I say this to say, this is the video on son husbands. Told you how it happens and how it functions. You need to learn something more about being son husbands, I'm more than happy to reach out to you. I'm out.